Storm Chandra has unleashed a powerful wave of disruption across England and neighboring nations, from torrential rain and gusting winds to life-threatening flooding. In the southwest of England, where rivers such as the River Otter run through towns like Ottery St Mary in Devon, the storm's arrival on Tuesday, January 27, 2026 brought scenes of rapidly rising rivers, stranded motorists, and authorities issuing some of the most serious weather warnings available. The Environment Agency issued a severe flood warning, the highest category, for the River Otter at Ottery St Mary, meaning there is a real danger to life, and residents were urged to take immediate action to protect themselves and their property. Locals described extraordinary conditions as the normally calm River Otter transformed into a raging torrent. One resident who can see the river from her home said she had never seen anything like it, noting how quickly the water rose and began to threaten nearby streets and houses. Additional flood warnings and alerts have spanned much of southwest England, with dozens of areas already under threat or facing rising waters, extending from Devon and Somerset to Dorset and Cornwall. The storm's timing couldn't be worse. Heavy rain fell on ground already saturated by recent weather systems, meaning rivers and streams had little ability to absorb additional water. Met Office forecasts predicted 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall widely across the southwest, with up to 60 to 80 millimeters over some higher ground such as Dartmoor. This combination of saturated soil and persistent rain contributed to exceptionally high river levels. National reporting indicated that the River Otter reached record high levels, peaking around 2.82 meters, prompting urgent flood warnings and increased caution from emergency services. The impacts of Storm Chandra have rippled far beyond riverbanks. Devon and Cornwall police advised motorists not to travel in parts of Exeter, East and Mid-Devon due to surface water and flooding making roads impassable. Fire and rescue crews worked throughout the morning, rescuing people from over 24 vehicles that became stranded in floodwaters. Officials confirmed there were no serious casualties, but the scale of interventions highlights the intensity of conditions. Across southern England, multiple major roads have been closed due to standing water and flooding hazards, from the A30 near Ottery St Mary to sections of the A303 linking Devon with Somerset. National rail services were also disrupted, with lines through Cornwall, Somerset and Hampshire suspended due to weather-related issues. The storm's impact cut across daily life, with dozens of schools closed in Devon and hundreds more shut elsewhere in the UK, including in Northern Ireland, as severe wind and snow warnings were also active. Adverse weather affected transport infrastructure well beyond the southwest. Flights were cancelled, bridges such as the Humber Bridge restricted high-sided vehicles, and the M48 Severn Bridge saw closures due to high winds. Storm Chandra formed as a deep area of low pressure moving through the Atlantic, bringing widespread rainfall and strong winds to much of the UK. The Met Office issued amber warnings for rain and wind, particularly over the south and southwest, where impacts were expected to be most serious. Strong southeasterly winds forecast in the region added to dangerous conditions, especially along coastal areas and on higher ground. These winds, which may have reached up to 75 miles per hour in some places, were unusual in origin and height for the time of year. While the River Otter flood warning captured immediate attention, Storm Chandra's effects have been nationwide. More than 100 flood warnings and nearly 200 flood alerts were active across England, signaling widespread flooding risk. Northern areas faced snowfall and transport disruption, including closures of major roads in Cumbria and Scotland. Snow and strong wind warnings extended into Northern Ireland and parts of Wales, complicating travel and emergency responses. Emergency services, councils, and the Environment Agency worked around the clock to monitor river gauges, coordinate rescues, and push public safety messages. Authorities stressed the importance of not attempting to drive through floodwater, as even shallow flows can disable vehicles and endanger lives. Residents in threatened areas were advised to move pets, vehicles, and valuables to safety, and to turn off utilities if evacuation became necessary. Storm Chandra arrives amid growing concern over how climate change is altering weather patterns and increasing the frequency of intense rainfall events. For river corridors such as the Otter, these pressures intersect with long-term flood risk management, conservation efforts, and community resilience policies, underscoring the need to combine traditional engineering with natural flood management and sustainable land use planning. Storm Chandra has brought serious flooding, travel disruption, school closures, and high river levels, particularly on the River Otter at Ottery St Mary, causing authorities to issue some of the UK's most urgent weather warnings. While rescue operations continue and river levels respond to the deluge, the event highlights both the immediate risks of extreme weather and the broader challenges facing communities in an era of heightened environmental volatility. For more news, follow, share, like and subscribe.